The National Audit Office said in January, quote, it's from its own report, the Department of Climate Change, Energy, Environment and Water, I might have got one of those mixed up, reports annually on progress towards targets, however are unable to demonstrate the extent to which specific Australian government policies and programs have contributed or are expected to contribute towards overall emissions reduction. I find that incredible. We see that solar and wind have taken Australia from lowest cost energy providers, electricity providers, to amongst the highest. Dramatic impacts on cost of living, adverse effects. Inflation, grocery prices, everything is impacted by energy and electricity. Security, international competitiveness. I've just come back from North Queensland where I've seen massive destruction of the environment up there. And some of the solar and wind projects, large solar wind projects in Western Victoria and in North Queensland are not even connected to the grid, but we're paying for them. At your behest, the government is completely upending our entire economy. You're destroying the cheap power grid we had. You're going to make it nearly impossible to buy a new Hilux, your Toyota Hilux. You're trying to force everyone into electric vehicles. You're spending $20 billion on Snowy 2 now. You can't tell anyone whether anything the government has done has actually made a difference. I think that's because it hasn't made a difference. What quantifiable difference have these solar and wind and other so-called policies made?
Look how these motherfuckers answer this shit.
The ANO issue, because there was quite a detailed response from the department to that.
Sure, but I'd like to...
So if it's okay with you, I might ask Ms Evans to give you a response.
Response to ANO, fine, but I'd also like to know what is the quantifiable difference these policies have made to our country?
Senator, so I will answer both. So, and then in the first part, the department disagrees with the finding that you read out from the ANAO report. And we do in fact have quite a comprehensive.
What's his bitch's name? Why don't they put a name
reporting
here?
On policies and programs,
you know what I mean?
and what they contribute to our emissions reductions,
Treats?
which Ms Rowley will be able to
That's
take
actually
you
an
through in a
honest
moment.
question. Like, where are all their names?
With regard to the sort of overall outcomes, you can see that. In fact, there's part of the same answer, but you see it in our annual national greenhouse gas inventory and all of the results that come from that. And there's a definite decline in Australia's emissions over the period that we've been looking at. And again, Ms Rowley can give you the specific details on that, but I think we're up to about 24 or 25% below 2005 levels at this stage. So all of those policies that you were referring to have contributed to those reductions in emissions, which are contributing to a global response to climate change. But Ms Rowley will take you through the very substantial way in which we track our policies and programs.
Thank you, Ms Evans. Kath Rowley, Head of the Emissions Reduction Division.
Introduce the name.
The ANO was essentially seeking measure by measure modelling and
this
tracking
bitch
the
reading
impact
off a
of every
goddamn
policy
script?
over time, which we consider is neither practical nor efficient,
She looks
given
like
that
a little bit
different
bubs.
policies and measures interact, particularly as the policy mix changes over time, and they're also impacted by structural changes in the economy. However, what we do is evaluate the impact of policies and programs on emissions during their development, and that's part of the public consultation on the design of the policies ex ante, so ahead of time.
Yeah, and what else? Read again.
In general, we prioritise policies which are going to have a material impact on Australia's greenhouse gas emissions, and that analysis then becomes part of the cost-benefit
She
analysis
gets caught
to
here, Bubs.
inform
Watch
government
this.
decisions.
I
In
saw
terms
it.
of reporting on progress, this occurs through a number of channels. So the department and government report against the progress against the 2030 target transparently and independently through channels such as the Climate Change Authority's annual progress report, the Minister's annual climate change statement to Parliament, and Australia's annual emissions projection report, as well as Ms Evans said, we report on Australia's actual emissions over time each year through our national inventory report and every quarter through the quarterly update.
How accurate is these cunts
So what you're
fucking...
saying, as I understand it, is that various other entities report on this.
other entities, including the Independent Climate Change Authority and the department through its work on the national inventory and the annual projections. And then just
report on aspects of it, bits of it, not a whole lot.
no, particularly documents like the emissions projections.
Good-
which are one
good
of our
question,
signature
Karen.
reports.
Projections?
Emissions projections. It's an annual report, and it tracks and projects Australia's progress towards its 2030 target. And I could use that as an example to
No, you
illustrate
cannot.
how we do look at the impact of specific
Motherfucking
policies.
slut.
So the 2023 projections, which were published in December last year,
Did you laugh?
include detailed analysis of the
Laughing.
abatement arising from some of the government's key mitigation policies. So, for example, the safeguard mechanism reforms are estimated to deliver just over 50 million tonnes of abatement in 2030, and the projections report provides detail, including the projected mix of on-site abatement and the use of credits over time, as well as how that policy impact is distributed across the different sectors which are covered by the safeguard mechanism. It also includes details of the Australian Carbon Credit Unit scheme, estimating that it will be grow from delivering 17 million tonnes of abatement in last year, 2023,
COVID
to 30
carbon
million tonnes
scheme. You
in
hear that?
2033.
That's where they want to fuck us.
Again, the projections provides reports on the types of projects, price forecasts, and the sectoral split of activity. Then the with additional measures scenario, which is also part of that.
She's reading
2023
this,
projection
reading
report,
everything.
reports on the potential impacts of some of the policies that are still under detailed design and development. And so, for example, the government's 82% renewable electricity target, supported by measures such as the Capacity Investment Scheme and the Rewiring the Nation program, is estimated to deliver 21 million tonnes of abatement in 2030. And the projections report provides detail across the different electricity grids covered by that target. It also provides quantitative estimates for the fuel efficiency standard for new vehicles, which the government is currently consulting on. And whilst that was a relatively stylised analysis, given that the policy is still being designed, we estimated that that would deliver a net 6 million tonnes of abatement in 2030.
Well, that's a lot of alphabet soup, but thank you.
What a sick
The
cunt.
point is, though, you have no evidence. ANAO is not convinced you have any evidence. You can't demonstrate how a specific policy has made any difference to the production of carbon dioxide from human activity. That's not me saying it, that's the ANAO.
Senator Robertson, you'll recall that Ms Evans noted that the department disagrees with that finding, and as I outlined, there are a range of analytic work and public reports that the department and other entities across government conduct to ensure that is careful analysis.
They create
of
their
the
own
emissions
reports
implications of
to
key
allow to
policy
change the
reforms
fucking
that have a material
legislation
impact
and
on
whatever the
policy,
fuck they do with
on
the
Australia's
environment.
emissions, sorry, and I've given you some examples of that.
Well,
Is that your
I
work,
know,
Bobs?
Ms. Rowley, I don't know if you're aware of it or not, or Ms. Evans or Minister McAllister, that no one anywhere has been able to provide me with the quantified specific effect of cutting carbon dioxide from human activity.
Top dog right there,
climate.
cunts.
No one.
Follow this
So
motherfucker
what basis
listening.
of it is there for tracking policy when there's no fundamental foundation for it anyway? So is anyone able to not only tell me the impact of carbon dioxide from human activity on our climate, any aspect of climate,
They can't.
specific,
True.
quantified, how you're able to track that when there's no basis for it?
Senator, I think two things.
What's
One
this
is
bitch gonna
this is
say?
a well-worn path between yourself and
Yet, Minister, I still
myself,
haven't seen
and
that.
perhaps I can answer. And a source of fundamental disagreement. You do not accept the science that
What?
human
Correction,
activities,
Chair, I do accept the science.
that human
The actual empirical
induced
science of the evidence.
activities.
Okay, this isn't. Let's not cut across each other.
I wanna make
There's a
sure the
difference.
minister doesn't-
Senator Roberts.
She's a narcissist. The bitch is a
Can
narcissist.
you hear?
I can see it. I would
Interpretation
fucking love
of
to
which
slap her.
science is whose.
Sweets.
So if we can just stick
you let me
to
slap her
asking
once?
the questions, listening to the answers, you can probe it as much as you like, but let's just keep it civilised here. Senator Gallagher.
To assist Senator Roberts,
We need
on
Ukrainian or
human
fucking all those
interventions.
Eastern
This
European
government does
politics.
accept
Cunts
the
bashing
science
each
that
other.
Human activities
That's what
are
we need.
reducing global warming. that
I'll sign up.
presents a threat.
I'll be
to
city council, move my way up, slowly get there.
and the biodiversity that our
El
human
Presidente.
activities depend
I'll
on.
change that. I want to be Prime Minister.
I
Fuck that.
understand,
President.
from comments you've
Sweet.
made previously,
You were the first goddamn
Senator
lady.
Roberts, that is not your position, but that is the government's position, and as a consequence,
I'll definitely be the
we
first
are
famous
committed
one.
to reducing
God damn,
Australia's
if I got married, the
contribution
first lady,
to,
every motherfucker would be loving this first
anti-emission
lady.
emissions,
It'd be like Melania's
to 2050.
hot daughter.
That is a
God
position
damn, you
that,
reckon
as
you
I
would be?
understand it, is
I reckon you
bipartisan.
could
I
be.
believe that remains the position
man.
of the coalition.
Everyone's gonna
as
want a
well.
little peek now.
And
No one's gonna see shit.
it is the basis on which we are also
Fine, her name's Mary Edwina.
committed to that by way
Last
of
name
that
Edwina.
participation in the process.
God damn, I'm gonna